Today on AI Applied, we are talking about Elon and Grok. Guys, Grok has had a journey, but today, Jaden's been doing some super cool things because we just got the word that Grok is launching and has launched actually its own app. I started messing with it, but then Jaden and I were talking offline. Jaden was like, oh my gosh, I was going crazy on this thing. So I definitely want to hear Jaden's point of view. Quick thing here on Grok. Remember back in March 2023, I had to look this up. Remember when Grok first came out, which is basically Elon Musk's large language model competitor to ChatGPT, competitor to Claude, competitor to other large language models, integrated into X, formerly Twitter. So that's what Grok is, but it's really trying to be its own powerful thing. But when it was initially announced, it was going to be like, we're going to be the politically incorrect large language model. That has been forgotten. I can't get it to be politically correct. I've tried. But Jaden, you have been messing around with the app. So much to talk about on this. What are you seeing?
So the first thing is that, we'll probably be doing another episode soon because they have their new Grok 3 that is very hyped and is apparently supposed to be done training and ready to be used in the next 2 weeks. So that'll be very exciting. The one thing I'll say, if you've never tried Grok before, they've done a bunch of very smart strategic things. The underlying technology is good, but they've done a bunch of smart strategic things recently that I think are going to make this tool a lot more usable. We know that back in November, they raised $6 billion. That is insane, absolutely insane. And with that, they're now launching a standalone website. So they have grok.com, just like chatgpt.com that you can use. I think that's really smart because previously it was just kind of embedded into Twitter or X. And I don't know. I don't love to go on a social media site to try to use a work tool. So it wasn't something I would have as part of my, workflow. The UI, and I'm a big UI person, is very clean, very good. They have a few different settings when you're doing a search. So they have auto, which is kind of automatically selecting the best output mode based on whatever content. They have a visual. This displays results as images generated by the model. They have search, which if you've listened to my last podcast that I did on Anthropic's Claude, when I absolutely lambasted them for not having search integrated, thank you, Grok, for launching with that. And then they have model only, which provides raw responses from the AI model without any assistance from tools like search or image generation. So for some people, they're just like, this is actually an interesting tool, right? And this is somewhere between ChatGPT and Anthropic. Anthropic does not have the internet. You just don't have the option. ChatGPT, when you ask it for something, maybe it's going to search the internet, but you don't want it to. This literally gives the option to turn that off. Only the model, no internet, please. So I do think that that's interesting. Anyways, they have these different settings you can kind of toggle through. And then, of course, you can do file uploads and stuff, which is what you'd expect.
You say interesting. Hold on, Jaden. Interesting. Yeah. Does that look useful to you at all? Like, so guys, if you're not watching along on YouTube, Jaden was just sort of showing that drop down of like, show it again, Jaden. What it's like auto visualize, model only search. Like, I just wanted to give me it needs me to choose this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. Doesn't you like that?
Okay, well, here's what I'll say. It's actually not very different than ChatGPT, but the auto, I like the auto. So if you just leave it on auto, which is the default, you don't ever have to think about these things. And I'm pretty sure with the auto, I could say something like, draw a picture of the Grand Canyon or something, and it would just know to do that. So that's the auto. But if you want to do something very specific, you can fine tune the settings. And I think that's useful. But even the search here, like if you go to ChatGPT, they have like an internet button where you manually click and turn it on as well. So I think it's pretty similar to the manual internet button. That being said, if you're on GPT 4.0 and you're asking it a question like about the weather, if you don't have to turn on the internet, it just knows to go and pull that from the internet.
It'll go automatically. Right.
Yeah. So this is kind of just like a hard make sure to double check because I have asked questions before and then it's given me a response. And I was like, you didn't look at the internet for this. You just had this in your training data. And I don't really trust perhaps what your old training data was because it's something new. So it's just like a way to kind of like force turn on the search, for example. So yeah, anyways, that's what that. Have you used Grok, Connor? And what have you used it for is my question.
Okay, I have the same question for you. So, and anybody out there, I'm dying to hear people on this. I use Grok occasionally to keep testing it, but the huge upside for Grok to me is that on these models, there is no manual. There's like a press release on, hey, Google Deep Research is out, or hey, ChatGPT is now has Canvas, things like that, or VO, the new image generator, video generator, or something like that. The problem, Jaeden, you can almost say this along with me, is that there's no like official thing. Sometimes the companies will drop their own demos, but you can't trust those. So the
Yeah.
way that you find these, Jaeden, right? All of us, all of the sort of like the quote unquote AI content creators, influencers out there, what do? We go over to X, maybe LinkedIn sometimes too, but we go over to X and see what other people are doing. It is the most asinine way of figuring out how a new, incredibly powerful model works. But that should be Grok's complete and total competitive advantage. And in a sense, in fairness, they do have that. So my favorite thing about Grok is that if I ask a question, I'll say, what was I asking about this morning? I think I was asking about Anthropic and the new fundraising or something like that, or asking, was Anthropic overvalued, with this new fundraising round and all that kind of stuff. And what it does, which is very cool on Grok, was it separates out, and I don't know if it does this on the website, Jaeden, or only in like on X. It separates out, first of all, on the left, it's sort of like web posts, like you might see in Perplexity or ChatGPT or something like that. But then on the right, it says posts, meaning like you can just click and just get posts, which is very cool, right? So like that's what I want. And you want like up to the minute, up to the second, like, oh my gosh, just discovered this. Or like if you're trying to track something that's something that's happening in the world right now, you don't go to the New York Times, right? You go to like X, right? But the problem is it's just so random who it pulls from. So in theory, it's great, but I'll like open these things up and I'll be following some dude that has like 900 followers, and no disrespect to that dude, but like I want to see what the big players are doing. So it has a competitive advantage. The user interface I actually really like, but I don't know that it's giving me what I want. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Okay, I want to share some use cases that I've been using and testing it for. The first thing I'll say that I love it for is image generation. I've probably talked about this in the past. And again, all of this is also on an app. I don't know if we mentioned that in this whole
Yeah.
episode. Grok.com is cool, but the really cool thing is that it's an app, and I downloaded it last night. It was like number 2 in productivity.
Brand new.
Yeah, brand
It has
new,
like
but it's skyrocketing, and the design is really clean as well. But it's hard for me to share, so you could go check it out. I don't know, I love it. I recommend it. It's cool. So one thing that I love it for though is its image drawing, and I think it's just using the Flex model still in there, but it's so much better than ChatGPT. If you go to ChatGPT and ask it to draw a photo of the Grand Canyon, it's just like kind of cartoony. It's like definitely not realistic. And I know they try to make like some cool features for editing photos and all sorts of stuff, but like if the photo doesn't look realistic, I wanted a photo of the Grand Canyon, not a picture of the Grand Canyon. So anyways, one other thing that I wanted to mention that's interesting, because we've talked about this, like this default like search button that you hard code click on. And I just wanted to say, I tried draw a photo of the Grand Canyon with having the search button. And it was interesting because if you have the search button enabled, it's going to, even on the same model of 4.0, it's going to say, I don't have the capability to draw or display images directly. However, I can guide you to several resources where you can find them. But so it seems like their model.
That's interesting. Yeah. Really good. I'm looking at them now that Jaeden is sharing his screen. They look phenomenal, actually. Right. Real time. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I mean, like, as I was saying, like, I think that is the potentially best feature. I think it's a little bit hit or miss with the posts, but potentially it's the best thing. All right. Give me what you got. Yeah. What? Yeah. 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 This looks, it looks like a brilliant young, disenchanted version of Jaeden, sort of like 14-year-old Jaeden. Like I this is the Jaeden I actually want to hang out with, to be honest. Listen, we're going long, guys. We could talk about Grok all day long. What we know about this is that Elon is in the maybe not the driver's seat, but the passenger seat with his connections to the administration right now. Whatever you see with Grok, they are going to have no problem raising more money. So I would really watch this space. They're already doing very, very well, and we're going to see where they go going forward. Thank you to Jaeden for sharing his screen, guys. If you're not watching on YouTube or watching this stuff, like, it's just awesome to see what he shares in real time as we're talking about it. So do check that out. Otherwise, guys, listen. This is the year. If you want to become a podcaster, if you have any interest in podcasting, you are right now with the ability to have access to the greatest of all the podcasters, which is Jaeden Schafer. He has a course that you can find on his site. We'll leave a link in the show notes. But honestly, it's the best thing out there. So really, really encourage you to do that. Really encourage you to make 2025 the year you start podcasting. Jaeden shares all his wild and crazy secrets for how he got 5 million downloads. And listen, this is something that if you want to learn from the best, this is your opportunity. Thank you for joining us on the AI Applied podcast, and we hope you have an amazing rest of your day.